Hi everybody and welcome to my full walkthrough of a Battlefield 5 Firestorm solo victory on the PlayStation 4. We're going to go through the entire game on this particular walkthrough. Future videos I won't go into quite as much depth, but because this is kind of going to be one of the first ones I do. So as you can see, we've got a west to east flight path, so I'm going to be going up somewhere right near the edge of the map. And in fact near the edge of the circle as well. Now the idea of doing this, the idea of jumping late and then jumping at right angles virtually out as far as you can go, is that it means that fingers crossed you'll be able to loot in peace. Now this isn't always the case because people follow the same tactic, but it probably means that you might only come across one person. Now what might happen with Firestorm as DICE and Criterion develop the game, hopefully what we'll see is that the first circle already being on the map, what I really want them to do is take that away so that in the first couple of minutes of the game there's no circle, so you'll be able to jump even further. Now to reach this far away, what you need to do is you do need to open your parachute a little bit early, and you'll see in fact in this clip I don't open it early enough, and that leads me to having to run quite a way to get to the buildings I want to hit. Again, this is a solo game, so my tactics in solos in this particular game, and quite often in games like PUBG and Blackout as well, is you always want to try and be playing what we would call the quiet side of the circle. Now, in order to do that, you just need to remember where the flight path was. So the flight path was west to east, and it was fairly down low on the map, wasn't it? So wherever the circle goes, I want to go to the edge of the circle. Missed the supply box there, didn't I? The edge of the circle that's furthest away from the flight path. And I also want to be avoiding named towns. And actually I should have mentioned that with dropping as well. When you do drop, try and avoid named towns. So jump far, jump long, and avoid named towns. I'm in the looting phase now, so it's all a case of trying to find some armour, trying to find a backpack, and trying to find some guns. From my initial gameplay with Firestorm, I've got 3 solo victories so far. I have to say that the best weapons are definitely the assault rifles, and what you want to be trying to pick up, in my opinion, is a close range assault rifle and a long range assault rifle. So something with iron sights, and then something with a scope if you can get it. And the Sturmgewehr is really cool. The STG is really good. The M1A1 is nice, and your Gewehr 43 as well. Your Sturmgewehr and your STG, they're your fully automatic assault rifles, and your Gewehr 43 and your M1A1, they're your self-loading rifles. Now, what you're seeing here is I'm just popping that flare gun to call in a vehicle because I'm on the edge of the circle. I don't actually have that much time. And just by popping that, it means that I'm definitely going to be guaranteed to have a vehicle so I can outrun the fire and get into a tactically better position. As you can see, I'm picking up armour, just putting some armour into my basic vest. Always remember to do that. As soon as you find some armour, put it in your vest. And now I've got the Sturmgewehr, and I've got I think I picked up maybe something like a Kar 98 sniper rifle. The problem is the green sniper rifles don't have scopes on them, so I'm not a big fan. And with the slow reload speed and with the way that armour works, in fact you have to knock the armour off people before you can start damaging their health, I tend to think that unless you've got a weapon with a scope on where you can headshot people, I would avoid the sniper rifles. I mean, if you get a special one with a scope on, then I'd say give it a go, but I'd much rather have an assault rifle with a scope on, something like an M1A1 carbine with a scope, or the Gewehr 43, which is what I think I end up with at the end of the game, and then another fully automatic assault rifle there as well. In these early sort of looting phases, again, you want to be picking up all the meds you can. You want to be picking up Panzerfaust, all the explosive grenades you can. I'm not really into smokes yet. That will probably come a little bit later. Now, what I'm thinking in my head at this point is I've got the Sturmgewehr, but I really want... I don't want the Kar 98, I want another weapon. And I think what I decide to do here is go with the MP40. Now the MP40 is a submachine gun. It's probably a little bit better than the Sten, because it fires a little bit faster, and I've had more success with the MP40 than I have with the Sten gun. There's my staghound that's appeared. So I put a dot down in the centre of the circle, and if you remember where the flight path was, sort of west east, fairly low down on the map, the quiet side of the circle will be towards the northern end of that circle, and we're playing the edge, so we're going to try to get to that. And the reason why I put a dot down is if you look at my compass at the top of the screen, in order to go to the northern side of the circle, what I need to do is just steer to the right of that marker. And as long as I keep doing that, you know, eventually I'll end up where I want to go. In solos, I would probably only use vehicles for the first, maybe the second circle. You make an awful lot of noise when you're in a vehicle. You can't take advantage of being able to fire the gun or the machine gun while you're driving, because you need a second person to do that. Now, as I'm approaching here, I do get into a gunfight, and you'll see the firepower of the Sturmgewehr. So I can hear a guy running around inside the house, so I jump out. He jumps out to challenge me. I'm not quite sure what he does here. He's facing the wrong direction. We take him down. Noise and sound is an incredibly important part of this game. Make sure you're wearing your headphones, make sure you've got them turned up loud. I would say turn off the music in the options as well, so you don't have that background noise, spoiling that, what I would call the tactical noises of people running around and tanks approaching and helicopters in the distance. Just firing off a flare just to see what it does. I'm also capturing a capture point at the same time. What happens is when you do capture points, you're rewarded with a really nice weapon somewhere. But I don't bother. I don't bother having a look at it. I'm just going to drive off and... oh no, what I do there is... This is an example of where the loot system at the moment is terrible. I have to reverse the staghound off the loot to have a look round and try and figure out what I'm going to take and what can I take. Get used to the inventory. Pressing down on the D-pad means that you can then cycle around the inventory, and if you're running 2 rifles, you know, drop all the LMG ammo, drop all the shotgun ammo that you might have picked up by accident, and drop the SMG ammo, and do that. However, if you're building to, you know, looting towards a build, then maybe hang on to that. Now, an important thing to do as well, I think, is to sort out your inventory and get things in the right place. So if you look at the inventory screen down the right hand side, your meds are always up on D-pad and your grenades are always on L1, and then what I do is I swap my stuff around. At the moment in my inventory, my armour is on right on D-pad, but what you'll see me do now is I swap it over to be left on D-pad, and I do that every single game. It depends when you pick them up and when you use them, because if you haven't got any armour and you pick up a like a Panzerfaust, that will go into that left-hand slot. But I always swap it that so that if I'm in the middle of a gunfight, you know, I can just press it and I'll put the press that, press the right trigger, and I'll equip the armour. I'm fairly satisfied with my loadout at this point in terms of ammo. I wouldn't mind having a single fire self-loading rifle. You see, I do pick one up in a bit. While we're on the subject of weapons, remember, green are the basic guns, and then you get blue, which are your rare guns, which add things like sights, faster reload, faster aim down sights, and then you have your the pinky ones, which are epic, which again might even have even better sights. They might have extended mags, even less recoil, that sort of thing. But always pick the gun that works best for you. So if you really like running the Sturmgewehr, like I do, then, you know, run a standard one of them rather than something like a rare Sten gun. You know, so use the gun that works best for that. Now, as you saw, the circle has come in again, so I put my marker right down in the centre and I'm making my way in. Just looking around. Again, always try and crouch run and try avoid running where you can as well, because it's all about reducing your sound bubble. So the amount of sound you're making, you want to make it as small as possible so you can hear other people and they can't hear you. We're approaching the train yard. This is where I do bump into someone, but they run off. And a little bit of a hint coming up. You will find loot on tops of buildings, and there's often handily placed boxes where you can grab those. With battle royales in general and Firestorm, so I see a guy running across. He's gone behind that building in front, so I fire a Panzerfaust. when you're in a firefight situation, he does actually just jump in his vehicle and drive off. When you're in a firefight situation, don't worry about using all of your grenades and your rifle grenades and your Panzerfaust and stuff like that. Throw everything you can at the enemy to kill them, because if you die in a firefight, you know, you're not going to chance to use them. But this is the caveat to this: only do that when you're at medium range, lobbing grenades and firing Panzerfaust and firing rifle grenades, because the animations and the time it takes to swap between, say, your gun and your Panzerfaust, or your gun and your rifle grenade, or your gun and throwing a grenade, they're quite long in Battlefield and quite long in Firestorm. And that means that someone can pop out and start shooting at you while you're getting your Panzerfaust out, or trying to put your Panzerfaust away, you know, your rocket away, in order to get your gun out. Now we've got quite a lot of time to the next circle, so I'm just sort of looting around this area, just sort of seeing what we've got, trying to pick things up, look inside all the buildings, just trying to pick up the grenades, pick up any extra ammo. I kind of think about swapping to the Bren gun here. The LMGs are very good in Firestorm, especially the FG44, I think, FG42, sorry, and the Bren gun. I would avoid the MG42. The MG42 is the sort of belt-fed machine gun, because the problem with that is hip fire isn't very good. You can't aim down sight when you're standing up. The only way that you can aim down sight is when you go prone. It can be very good when you're playing in squads, because you can have somebody with an MG42 and they can sit down, you know, on high ground and just hose down enemies. But in Firestorm, in solos, you always want to have a gun that if you go around a corner and there's someone camping in a bush or by a tree, you know, you can blap them down, and you simply can't do with that the MG42. So the Bren or the FG are better options. But as I said, my preferred setup at the moment is double ARs, or probably an AR with an LMG if it had a good sight on it. Now we're coming towards the sort of final few circles, so I'm just going fairly slowly into the circle, just looking out for enemies. Where you want to be looking is to the behind trees, inside bushes. People love to camp inside buildings as well, and although you don't want to make too much noise, you do want to, if you can, is try and keep moving, especially if you're trying to get to a place. So what I'm trying to do now is the circle has gone to the top left hand corner of the map, sort of the northwestern corner of the map, and again, remember where that flight path was. If anybody flew that far to get to that part of the map to loot in safety, at this time, sort of 10 minutes into the game, they'll be long gone, because there's not enough loot there to sustain them. You know, they would have looted up and then they would have headed south to find better sources of loot. Now I can hear gunfire and I can hear lots of things going on, but my priority now is positioning. Positioning in battle royales, in Firestorm, in PUBG, in Blackout, is always more important than gunfights. So if you can avoid as many gunfights as you can to get yourself into that top 10 situation, then you'll find yourself winning more victories in solos or teams. Because with battle royales, you can't just treat one game of Firestorm as your session for the evening or for the day, because your chances of winning one game of Firestorm, remember it's 1 versus 64 or 63 other players, chances of winning that, even if you're really good, are fairly low. But if you can play several games, you know, over the space of an hour and a half or 2 hours, and you can play in a way that will get you into those final circles, your chances of winning go up dramatically as well. Now if you want to play for kills and run around and get into gunfights, drop hot, drop on the flight path, drop at a named building, a named town, but if you want to go for wins, you might want to think about playing the edge like this. So what I'm looking at now is I'm pretty much in a northern position. I don't really want to go any further, so now it's a case of, right, where's the next circle going to go? So it's going south, so I know I shouldn't really have many people behind me, but the way we've got to go south towards those houses below, I've got to go into that valley, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to be very exposed as I go down there. If there's anybody on the other side of the valley looking down, they're probably going to see me, so how can I get down there in a safe way? Now I see this concrete pillbox up ahead. And I think, right, I'll check that out. As you know, I'm always looking around, looking for people coming behind me. And what happens next is we're going to get into a little bit of a fight with somebody. It's quite funny actually. So I look down here and I think if I go that way, I'm going to be really exposed. So maybe there's a way if I get behind this pillbox, maybe I can go down to the coast and be a little bit more covered. I think, well, if I go in the pillbox, let's have a look round anyway, see if there's anything interesting in there. So I go in here and I have a look round and so some meds. Right, I'm full of meds. All right, okay, there's a backpack. And then he's thrown sticky grenades at me. So I throw a grenade outside to give me enough time to heal up, and then I tuck myself into this corner, get my Sturmgewehr ready. Haven't got enough time to apply any armour. Just wait for this chap to come in. And here he comes. Hip fire him, hip fire him, hip fire. And then he's dead. And this guy gives me the weapon that enables me to actually win this game. Now the Firestorm's coming in, quickly replacing my armour. Right, what's he got? So he's got a Gewehr 43. That's an assault rifle. But it's as you can see, it's a epic one, one of those pink ones. So it's got lovely sights. It's only got 5 bullets per magazine, but I've got a really good sight. So I've got a very good setup at the moment. I've got the Sturmgewehr, fully automatic assault rifle, and then I've got that FG. Is it the FG4? Actually, it's difficult to read it on this, isn't it? Let me have a look. It's the Gewehr 43. Yeah, you see how that sight looks really cool. So now we're looking at slowly moving in. I'm going to wait behind this bush because I've got cover. I'm just going to wait for the circle to come in. And when you're in this situation, you haven't got to worry about people coming from the middle of the circle towards you. What you're worried about is that people coming around the edge on your flanks. New circle, put my marker in the middle so I know where I've got to go. Now this is interesting because there's the water there and there's a causeway going across the water. The centre of the circle normally will never go on water. It always has to be on land. So we've got a situation here where the circle could be, hint hint, on that causeway. So it's, a very interesting situation. So I can hear people running around. And remember, when you're near the Firestorm as well, it sounds like people are running around behind you. It can be very disconcerting. Keeping an eye on that clock. Again, with the Firestorm, you can outrun the Firestorm, or at least you can keep up with it. So you can go very, very late. And there's 8 people left, including myself. And it's a case of letting them get on with it. Let those other people kill themselves while I kind of wait here. So we've got about 30 seconds left to go. I'm just double checking my weapons are all reloaded. I'm at full health, my armour's at full. Right, somebody's dropped a flare there. People use flares as distractions. So I'm slowly moving in, looking for cover. Right, I see the guy on the causeway. Get this gun, that's great. Now we managed to take some of his armour off, so that's good. Now come up to this building. This building isn't in, but I can hear somebody running around inside. So I'm like, well, I don't want to move out because if I run past this building, the guy who's inside it is just going to shoot me in the back. Somebody else has called in an artillery strike. So we're just waiting and waiting and waiting. Can't see the guy on the causeway anymore. Let's reload that. And then we're just waiting for this guy to... Right, he comes out, he throws a smoke grenade at me for some reason. So get behind, reload, come out to challenge him again. He runs past me. Oh dear. Fully automatic, hip firing, we take him out. So now the Firestorm's on me, so I've got to go, but I'm leaving it right until the last minute. And then we're just running out the Firestorm, behind cover over here. Just going to tuck in, and we're going to heal up. Our armour's still in one piece. We've only got entry level armour, so we've only got 1 plate. It'd be nice to have medium armour. You find heavy armour, the one with 3 plates, and some of those rare and epic weapons in safes around the maps as well. So if you see a safe, take the time to open it. You also get them in weapon bunkers as well. So now all I'm going to do now is we've got a minute to go. I'm in really good cover. Somebody could come behind me, but I'd probably hear them coming. I think that there could be someone over on that causeway. There's 5 people left, so this point of the circle, it's all about trying to gather information. Where are the other players without giving away my location? I'm just going to have a quick look behind here. And what I realise now is, and what I think is, I need to move early. If the circle is going to be on that causeway, whoever is on that causeway is going to have an advantage. I think that there is a guy already there, so I'm going to try and throw a grenade over there. I can't see anybody. There's only 26 seconds, so I think, right, let's go. Let's get a good position first, and then try and defend the causeway. So throw a grenade over, just in case there's somebody over there. Throw a sticky grenade over. They're not the best sticky grenades, but they can be useful. Somebody starts firing at me, so bang, not much cover. Let's get down low. There's nobody on the causeway. I tuck myself in. Time for a heal. Stand up by mistake. Change my armour. We've still got one armour plate left. Now, we've got 3 people left alive, so this is good. So let's throw a couple of grenades. Where are they coming from? So I'm having a look. Can I see them? Can't really see them. Let's get in the circle. Let's move up a little bit. Now I see one guy there, and I see the other guy up and to the left. So I blat him a couple of times, and then I blat this guy. Well, actually, I miss him, don't I? And now what I do is I'm worried that that guy's just pushed me. So I try to throw a grenade. You'll see in a second. I back up because I'm worried he's going to run up and jump over the bridge in front of me, jump over the causeway in front of me. So I back up. I have a look, and now I try and throw a grenade. I think, and it sticks to the wall. Dunk. It's like, oh no! So I might almost kill myself. So I have to jump over this side into the water, lie down. Now there's still 3 people left alive, but those other 2 are going to engage each other in just a second, which is going to give me my chance. So I know they're over there. I'm worried that one of them might be pushing. One of them's just died, so I've got one guy left. So where is the other guy? Just taking time to replace my armour. Right, let's listen. Can we hear anybody? Right, let's pop up in a second. We're going to have a look. We've still got 48 seconds before the firestorm disappears. And then luckily I see him there right by those trees. And I've got exactly the right weapon to blat him with probably a headshot there. And we get the victory. So there we go. Solo victory, PlayStation 4, Battlefield 5 Firestorm. If you've got any questions, put them down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again soon.